Test card 4. Oh, we have our first Zoosion! Flying to Quirrell. Welcome to Zoosions, everybody, all tourists and wacky zookeepers. Welcome. So first, I just want to say thank you guys so much for supporting and watching and learning how to play Zoosions, as it is designed to assist with trading psychology skills so that everybody has able access to learn how to succeed in the financial markets. Except you would never guess that when you're looking at this, right? That's the point. Let's have some fun. So guys, this is Zoosions, like I mentioned. The contents, there are going to be 5 experiment bias cards that are double-sided. There's going to be a total of 12 control group animals, which are comprised of base animals and a pair of special animals, our lab rat mascot. Fusion tickets, that is the primary currency of Zoosions. The pet pile, which will contain all the necessary cards to win in a game, including our mythical Zoosions for a total of 10 in the pet pile. I'm going to shuffle that up real quick. Also, we have the maniacal zookeeper deck for our zookeepers out there. It is designed to mess with the other tourists because a zookeeper has their own win condition. There's going to be 20 of those. Shuffle them up. We also have the stash, which is a special deck that the lab rat gave the tourists, as he knew that the tourists would need some extra help in this journey in Fusion Park. It's going to be comprised of reactants and uncaged cards. I don't recommend using them your first game because they are a little bit more advanced. I'm going to shuffle those up. This is the Zookeeper token. Whenever the Zookeeper takes something or something is removed from the game, it'll just go with this card here to show that it is removed from the game. Now this is the board here. All tourists is the front gate. All tourists start here. The Zookeeper's playpen is where the Zookeeper starts. The pet pile spot where the pet pile will be at. The Zoosion zone, we'll explain that in a little bit. The current Zookeeper card that's being played. Fusion Park is full of special spots called exhibits, and not so special spots called cages, and also some blank spots as well. We also have our win spot for the tourists, the Fusion Refuge. To win as a tourist, you must be a Zoosion on the Fusion Refuge. If you are not a Zoosion and you land here, you do not win yet. You must complete both objectives. We also have our test card spots. The test round is what determines the outcome for the tourists. And those are the contents of Zoosions, everybody. And now there's 2 different ways to play in Zoosions. The majority of people will be playing as a tourist, and there will always be one player that will play as the Zookeeper in a game of Zoosions. So first, to start, you determine what player is going to be the Zookeeper. Let's say the pink piece is going to be Zookeeper. They start on a Zookeeper's playpen, and then everybody else is a tourist. So then they would be placed on the front gate. Now setup. So as you can see here, the board's already set up, which is great. All tourists start at the front gate. The Zookeeper starts at the Zookeeper's playpen. And the Zookeeper will control all of the cards in a game of Zoosions, including his own deck. So every tourist is going to receive first, and the Zookeeper passes this out, is going to be a green experiment bias. As a reminder, it is double-sided. There's a green side and a red side. So each tourist gets one of those. And let's say there's going to be 3 tourists playing this game. Now they also get 5 fusion tickets. And if it is not your first time playing, or if you're going to go for it, I respect it. Each tourist would get a stash card, but we're not going to use that for the time being until we get to the advanced rules. Okay, they will stay right here. Now every tourist gets to choose, in order, clockwise from the zookeeper. Zookeeper is right here. An animal from the control group to start with. As a reminder, all base animals are free to start with, and the special animal comes at a cost. So tourist 1 is going to go for a flying squirrel. And then tourist 2 is going to go for a zebra. And we don't need these game pieces at this time. And tourist 3, let's say, also wants to go for a flying squirrel. And everyone has one control group animal. So we're going to go one more turn. One more rotation. And let's say tourist 1 wants a lion. And you cannot have the same control group animal at any time unless a card says otherwise. So I cannot be 2 flying squirrels or 2 zebra, for example. Let's say I'm going to go tiger. Tourist 2's going to go tiger, and then tourist 3 will go donkey. The flying squonky. Spoiler alert. The zookeeper is ready to go. He doesn't start drawing till his pre-round. Now we're going to place the pet pile after we shuffle it where it says pet pile. Now, everybody, we're ready to play a game of Zoosions. And this part, everybody, is about to show you how a full turn in Zoosions goes. So it goes 1 tourist pre-round, 2 zookeeper pre-round, and lastly, the test round, where tourists start their experiments. Now, as a tourist, your job, your goal, your win condition is to place successful experiments. And how you do that, you might ask? Well, by placing at least 1 fusion ticket on your experiment bias. Now, your goal is to match your experiment bias color to the correct color on the test card in addition to your animal. So what I like to do first is say, hey, is that matching one of my animals? Tourist 1 says no. Okay, nothing happens to them. Tourist 2 says, yes, I have a zebra. And I have a green experiment bias. And then this is a green zebra. So what does that mean for me? Well, you're not an experiment yet, so you don't move. We'll get to that in just a moment. Tourist 3, nothing. That's a little spoiler alert there, okay? That's one of the most important rules in Zoosions to understand, is how to move as a tourist. Now, we're going to start experiments as a tourist. Let's say tourist 1, you can either choose to start an experiment or watch. If you just watch, that passes your pre-round to the next player. But we're going to play. This is a game. It's meant to be played. So tourist 1 says, hey, zookeeper, I'm going to start an experiment. I'm going to put 1 fusion ticket on a red experiment bias. That would end the tourist's pre-round. Tourist 2, would you like to start an experiment? Tourist 2 says, of course, I want to play. I'm going to stay on green, and I'm going to do 2 fusion tickets. Now, guys, fusion tickets determine how many spaces you move in Fusion Park. And we're going to put these on the experiment bias. Now, zookeeper asks Tourist 3. Tourist 3, would you like to start an experiment? Of course, I want to play Zoosions. I'm going to stay on green. And then I don't think I want my donkey anymore. So I want to trade it for something else. Can I do that, zookeeper? Of course you can, tourist. What would you like? I want a zebra. All right. Well, the trade cost is 2 fusion tickets. Do you want to do that? Yes. All right. Pay up. 2 fusion tickets. And then we're going to swap for a zebra. Well, Zookeeper, what if I wanted to switch with the other tourists? If you want to be that guy, Tourist 3, you absolutely can. But you've already traded with me, so I'm not going to give you the pass. Next pre-round, if you would like to do something like that, I won't hold you back. Tourist 3 is going to watch, because I don't have any more fusion tickets to experiment with, so I want to make sure that I have good risk management. Now Zookeeper gets to play. Now Zookeeper pre-round. The Tourist pre-round is finished. Just like so. And now the Zookeeper is going to play. So whenever the Zookeeper has 0 cards in hand, I'm going to draw 3 from the top. And I'll play one of these from my hand. Let's see. Ooh, this one's a fun one. All right, everybody, I'm playing Change in Bias. Every tourist flips over their experiment bias. I play 1 additional card from the pet pile during this test round. So flip them over, everybody. Flip them over. And let's start our first test round. So in the test round, everybody, there are going to be 4 test cards played. That is where the tourists will test their experiments that they're in, if they are in one. As a reminder, the Zookeeper changed how this test round is going to be played. So there's going to be a total of 5 test cards played during this test round instead of 4. So what we're going to do, we're going to click and drag our first test card, and we're going to flip it over. It is a green flying squirrel. So this card only affects experiments with flying squirrels. We have 2 tourists who have flying squirrels. Tourist 1, wow, is in an experiment, is a flying squirrel, and the experiment bias is green. That is excellent. Now what do I do now, Zookeeper? Well, tourists, you have 1 fusion ticket on your experiment bias, which means you get to move 1 space forward. So you moved into the flying squirrel exhibit. And Zookeeper, what's that +1 and -1? Tourist 1, great question. Since you reached an exhibit ahead of you, you will get the +1 fusion ticket. But first, because you succeeded your experiment, this goes back in your hand, and then I will pay you 1 fusion ticket. Congratulations, you have succeeded your experiment. You cannot move for the rest of the test round unless a card says otherwise. Tourist 2, you're not a flying squirrel, so nothing will happen to you. Tourist 3, you are a flying squirrel, you have a red bias, but good on you. You're not in an experiment, so you are not affected positively or negatively from this. This would have negatively affected you because you had a color mismatch. Okay? You matched the animal, but not the color. But you're not in an experiment, so there's no movement. As a reminder, guys, very important, the fusion tickets that are in experiments determine how many spaces you move. Now, something important to note, when you reach exhibits or cages, your movement gets automatically cut off, even if you had remaining moves left. So let's say, for example, Tourist 1 had 2 fusion tickets on their experiment. They would not move to this space here. They would stop at the flying squirrel exhibit. Because it is an exhibit or cage, your movement gets stopped, even if you had remaining moves left. Because why are you going to skip the flying squirrel exhibit? You're not going to skip that. You put these back in your hand, the fusion tickets back in your hand, and the Zookeeper would pay you that 1. We already had that extra 1 there, so we're going to keep it there. Okay, that is the exhibit cage rule. Now keep in mind the fusion refuge and the front gate, they are not considered exhibits. So the fusion refuge and the front gate are not considered exhibits. So you can move through those. All right, let's go to test card 2, everybody. We got a red lion. Now because Tourist 1 is out of their experiment, they are no longer affected by this card. So they got saved. Tourist 2, you're not lying. Tourist 3, not lying. So none of you guys are affected there. Let's go to test card 3. We've got another green flying squirrel. Tourist 1 says, man, why can't I move? It's a green flying squirrel, another one. Well, you're no longer in your experiment. Remember, your fusion tickets determine your movement, and your movement You have no movement right now. You succeeded your experiment. So you just get to watch the remainder of the test round. Test card 4. Oh, we have our first Zoosion! Flying to Quirrell. Let's go. Now for the Flying to Quirrell, the fusion cost is going to be a Flying Squirrel plus a Tiger plus 5 fusion tickets. It does have an upgraded animal boost. These do count as both a Flying Squirrel and a Tiger for this Zoosion. Now that is the end of a test round, everybody. The Zoosion will get moved to the Zoosion zone. That can always be looked at. And then the pet pile cards can be moved to the side in a pile. Tourists cannot look through the pet pile at any time, even the ones that have already been played. And everybody, that is an example of a test round and how a full turn goes in Zoosions. You guys want to do one more test round? Let's do one more test round. Tourist 1, would you like to start an experiment? Well, I don't know if I want to start an experiment yet because I can do a couple of different things during my pre-round. So I can trade my animals, I can use an animal boost, or I can watch. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to trade. I want to make a trade, Zookeeper. So Tourist 2 is still in their experiment. So I'm going to pay you 2 fusion tickets because that's how much the zebra costs. And I'm going to swap my lion with his zebra. And I now have trader's protection, so I cannot be traded with for the rest of the pre-round. Now what I'm going to do, Zookeeper, I'm going to flip to red, and I'm going to put 2 fusion tickets on my experiment bias to form my experiment. I believe we're going to see some red. We saw a good amount of green last test round, so based on supply and demand, I believe this play makes the most sense. Now, Tourist 2, you are still in your experiment, so your pre-round is skipped. Tourist 3, would you like to start an experiment? I would like to, actually. I'm going to do 1 fusion ticket on red. That's going to be my experiment. I'm not going to do anything else. That's my experiment. Now, once you guys form your experiment, your pre-round automatically passes to the next player. And now, make sure as a Zookeeper, before you play your card, you move up 1 space. Okay? So now I'm going to move up 1 space, and I'm going to play Deletion Ray. I pick a Zoosion from the Zoosion zone and remove it from the game. Get out of here, Flying to Quirrell. You are removed from the game. You guys have no access over Zoosions right now. I have the control. Let's get to the test round, Taurus. Test card 1 is going to be a red zebra. Taurus 1. Not bad. So you are a zebra with a red experiment bias. That's red zebra. Now, how many spaces do you move, Taurus 1? Well, Zookeeper, I move 2 spaces. Why do you move 2 spaces, Taurus 1? Because I'm experimenting with 2 fusion tickets. Duh. Ah, very well played. Now, how many fusion tickets does a donkey exhibit say, Taurus 1? It says +2. Very good work. So make sure to put those back in your hand, and I will pay you out 2 fusion tickets. Very well done, your experiment, sir. Now we're going to go table check. Taurus 2 is not affected. Taurus 3 is affected. It's a red zebra. So Taurus 3 will move up. Congratulations, Taurus 3. You've succeeded your experiment. Because the Flying Squirrel exhibit says +1 fusion ticket, you will get a fusion ticket. A very good job. And now test card 2 is going to be a red tiger. Now, Taurus 1 is not affected. Not an experiment anyways. Taurus 2. Now, you have 2 fusion tickets. Why are you only moving and stopping at the Flying Squirrel exhibit, Taurus 2? Well, I want to stop at the Flying Squirrel exhibit. I'm going to stop there. I want to see the Flying Squirrels. And also the rule of Zoosions is that you must stop at exhibits or cages, even if you have remaining moves left. Congratulations, Taurus 2. You succeeded your experiment. Here is a Fusion tickets for you. Now, everyone is out of their experiments, but we'll still get to see what test cards are left from the test round. That is a green tiger. No one's affected because no one is in an experiment. And then test card 4 is going to be a green zebra. Wow, look at that. Red zebra, red tiger, green zebra. Also, is this green with red stripes or red with green stripes? We'll never know. And everybody, that is the end of test round 2. There are 2 examples of test rounds there, everybody. We did trades. We placed experiments. Now, what we have not done yet is use an animal boost, and we have not hit an animal pass yet. I'm going to show you guys how to do an animal boost right now. Taurus 1, before they start their experiment, they're like, hey, Flying Squirrel animal boost seems pretty good. I can move to the nearest exhibit ahead of me. And it takes 3 Fusion tickets to do that, Zookeeper, so I'm going to do that. I'm going to pay you 3 Fusion tickets to move to the nearest exhibit ahead of me. And because I moved to the nearest exhibit ahead of me, it says +3, so I get 3 Fusion tickets, right? Absolutely, Taurus 1. There are your 3 Fusion tickets right back at you. Would you like to start an experiment? I'm going to watch. Very well. Now, let's say Taurus 2. You want to start an experiment? Go for 2 on green, you say? Roger that. And Taurus 3, you want to watch again? No problem at all. All right. Now, I'm playing a nice card for you guys. I'm going to move up a space first. I'm going to play Hyper Experiment Pairs. So it reads, each tourist who owns an animal pair move to the next exhibit ahead. Which means all of you guys move to the next exhibit ahead. Taurus 1 gets 4 Fusion tickets because it says +4. Now, if you ever move back into these, you get the minuses. I know we haven't moved back at all yet. And now also, because this is pre-round, you are not succeeding or failing your experiments yet. This is still pre-round. This is not the test round yet. So Taurus 2 is still in their experiment. And now Taurus 3, come on up, grab 2. And let's start this test round. Test card 1. It's going to be another Zoosion, a talkie. Very cool. Very cool. Test card 2. It's going to be a green donkey. No one is affected from this. Test card 3 is going to be another green donkey. And test card 4 is going to be a green lion. So Taurus 2, that's to you. That means you move 2 spaces forward. And now because you have not reached an exhibit yet, you are still in your experiment. Your experiments are tested until you reach an exhibit or cage. And then we go to the next test round. Now I'm going to show you guys. And now Tonki gets moved to the Zoosion zone. All right, everybody. I'm going to show you guys how an animal pass works. They are the unique movement cards in Zoosions where you can move without having to be in an experiment. They are powerful cards. There's 1 card per animal per color in the pet pile. So Taurus 2 is still in their experiment. Taurus 1 and watch. And the thing is about Taurus 3 decided to actually have a green experiment bias before choosing to watch. I get a fresh hand of 3. Oh. I'm going to play not too fast. I pick a Taurus who is on an exhibit. I move them back until they reach the nearest exhibit behind them and end their experiment. Well, Taurus 1, you're the first ahead. So I'll move you back. And because you move back into an exhibit, it's -3. Better pay up. Thank you for your patronage. Let's get this test round going. Oh, I got a good hand. Test card 1. It's going to be a green flying squirrel pass. Let's read it here, guys. If you have a flying squirrel and a green experiment bias, move to the next exhibit ahead and activate its animal boost for free. This card activates even if you are not in an experiment. So because it is a green flying squirrel pass, Tourist 1 is not affected because they have a red experiment bias. It does not hurt them in any way, but does not help them in any way. Tourist 2 is not a flying squirrel, so it does not help any or hurt any. Now Tourist 3 has a flying squirrel and a green experiment bias, which means move to the next exhibit ahead. So I'll move the next exhibit ahead. I'll get 3 fusion tickets because that's what the exhibit calls for. And then activate my animal boost for free. So that means I get to move the exhibit ahead of me. So I get to move to the next exhibit. So I'm going to get to the tiger exhibit, grab 4 fusion tickets. And I did all of that even while not being in an experiment, just by watching. That is the power of an animal pass. Let's get to our test card. 2 is going to be a red tiger pass. A red tiger pass. Now, Tourist 2 is a tiger. However, they have a green experiment bias. So they are not affected by this red tiger pass. They are not hurt any, but they are not helped any. You must match, okay? Let's finish this test round out. We have a Zonkey, Zoosion, Zebra and Donkey, and test card 4, a green zebra. To finish off that test round, Zonkey gets moved to the Zoosion zone. These guys get moved to the discard pet pile. And those are a few examples of test rounds here, guys. If you guys want to see how the Lab Rat is played, drop a comment below. Make sure to like the video, share it with friends, and look at our Kickstarter link down below. Make sure you guys take the Zoosions personality quiz to see what Zoosion you are to dive into our world. Thank you guys so much. See you guys on the next video.